Good afternoon to each and everyone. Good afternoon, coach, and good afternoon, fellow classmates. So my name is Emmanuel C. Espinosa. We are the Study Hub 6 Survival. So my topic this for today is all about the learner-centered pedagogy. So for the intended learning outcomes, after studying the module, you are expected to first discuss the nature of learner-centered teaching modalities in structures, methods, and strategies that facilitate differentiated teaching to suit learners' gender, needs, strengths, interests, and experience. So for number 2 is select appropriate learner-centered teaching modalities, structures, methods, and strategies based on learners' diverse needs, learning styles, and backgrounds. So for number 3, draw an appropriate learner-centered teaching modalities and strategies that address the special educational needs of learners in difficult circumstances. So, here are some topics that we are going to discuss. So, for the abstraction is letter A, delivery modalities. Delivery modalities refers to a learning delivery modality where learning takes place between the teacher and the learner who are geographically remote from each other during instructions. The following are the modalities in teaching students. So for number 1 is face-to-face. Face-to-face is an instructional method where course contents and learning materials are taught in person to a group of students, and this allows for a live interaction between a learner and the instructor. For this face-to-face, in this scenario, we have mostly in our system, we encountered this face-to-face, especially it happened inside so it is happening right now. For number 2 is blended learning. Blended learning is an approach to a learning that combines face-to-face and online learning experiences. Students learn via electronic and online media as well as the traditional face-to-face teaching. So in this blended learning, it is combined face-to-face and online learning. So for the example is in our school of ZPPSU, the Zamboanga Peninsula Polytechnic State University, that school is conducted this blended learning, the online and the face-to-face. So the following are some examples of blended learning. For letter A, station rotation and blended learning. It is a model that allows students rotate through stations on a fixed schedule where at least one of the station is an online learning station. So for letter B, remote blended learning or enriched virtual. In this model, the students' focus is on completing online course work while only meeting it with the teacher focusing on completing online coursework while only meeting with the teacher intermittently or as needed. This approach differs from the flipped classroom. So for letter C, the flipped classroom blended learning. So the flipped classroom blended learning is one where students introduce to content at home and practice working through at its school support by a teacher and or peers. In this way, traditional roles for each space are flipped. In other words, studying at school, learning at home. So for letter D, mastery-based blended learning. Students rotate between online and face-to-face learning based on the completion of mastery-based learning objectives. Assessment design is crucial in any mastery-based learning experiences. So for number 3 is technology-based online learning. Constitute learning via broadcast, audio and video conferencing bulletin boards, chat rooms, webcasts, and CD-ROM. This refers greater accessibility to learning by offering anytime and anywhere delivery of information. So for the last is but not the least, the number 4. The number 4 is distance learning. Distance learning is synonymous with online learning. It is a method of study where teachers and students do not meet in a classroom, but learning materials are sent through the internet, emails, mails, etc. to have classes. So as a while ago, the teacher. So that's all about for my report. Thank you. That's all, and a pleasant afternoon to each and everyone.
Blessed day to all, specialty coach Jude Martinez. My name is Norian Afaca Santos, the second reporter for this module, and I'll be going to discuss about the structures for facilitating learner-centered teaching. So the structures for facilitating learner-centered teaching, it is a potent tool to help pre-service and practicing teachers understand the fundamental pedagogical principles, processes, and practices that are anchored on learner-centeredness and other educational psychologies as they applied to facilitate the delivery of teaching and learning in the current educational milieu. The first one that we're going to discuss is about formal or traditional education. So formal or traditional is concerned with the teacher being the controller of the learning environment. Power and responsibility are held by the teachers, and they play the role of instructor and decisions maker at the curriculum and specific outcomes. Approaches are generally teacher directed, where students are taught in the manner that is conducive to learning, sitting, and listening. Second is alternative learning system, or ALS. It is a practical option to the existing formal instructions so that students can complete basic education in a mode that fits their distinct situations and needs. Under this flexible program, learning can take place anytime depending on the convenience and availability of the learners. This program is for the working and the disadvantaged adults who wish to complete primary and secondary education. Under the alternative learning system, Act Republic Act Number 11510. A learning system that is different from the traditional classroom-based method will be formally established. Non-formal education, or NFE, refers to the education that occurs outside the formal school system. It is often interchangeably with terms such as community education, adult education, lifelong education, and second chance education. It is an integral part of a lifelong learning concept that ensures the young people and adults acquire and maintain the skills, abilities, and dispositions needed to adapt to a continuously changing environment. Informal education, or INFED, does not have the structures and levels that formal schools have. It is more natural and spontaneous, meaning the information that one learns through this form of educations come from learning experiences. Example, formal education can teach you about fire and physics and more advanced classes, thermodynamics, but informal education is when you see a person burning their hand when they touch a pot handle with a pot holder, and you learn that the heat from the stone is transferred to the pot handle. So you should be careful with your cookware. The mobile teachers are specialized to live among the people in the most barangay of the country and conduct the BLP for illiterate out-of-school youth and adults who are willing to learn basic literacy skills and accreditation of equivalency, or a continuing education. For those who left formal schools or have no access to schools, they are called mobile teachers because they go from one place to another where they are needed. Alternative delivery modes, or ADM, refers to non-traditional education program recognized by the Department of Education, or DepEd, which applies a flexible learning philosophy and a curricular activity programs that includes non-formal and informal sources of knowledge and skills. These are tried and tested alternatively modalities of education delivery within the confines of the formal systems that allow schools to deliver quality education to marginalized students and those at risk of dropping out in order to help them overcome personal, social, and economic constraints in their schooling. Modified and School-of-School approach, or MIMOSA, is an alternative delivery mode of education meant to address the problem of congestion, overcrowding due to the classrooms and teacher shortage resulting to big class size, less contact time with pupils, absenteeism, and insufficient learning materials. Classes under MIMOSA are divided into two groups, the school in-group and off-school group, where the in-school group learns in a typical classroom setups, while the off-school group is given the flexibility to learn and do activities independently or with a learning facilitator. Enhanced instructional management by parents, community, and teachers, also known as e-Impact, is a learning system in the Philippines that was designed in 2010 by the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization, or SIMEO Inotech. Through e-Impact, SIMEO wants to solve problems in education in the Philippines public school system, such as lack of classrooms, teachers, textbooks, high dropout rate, and low budget allocated of education. This technology-enhanced alternative delivery mode of learning consists of peer-led approach is the main processes that allows pupils to learn, interact with each other, and develop to their fullest potential. Last but not the least, Open High School Program, or OHSP. It is an alternative mode of formal secondary education program run by the Bureau of Secondary Education, or BSc, of the Department of Education, DepEd, of the Republic of the Philippines. It is intended for the students who would otherwise be unable to pursue formal secondary education due to rigid requirements of regular class. It also caters to learners who are unable to attend the regular class program due to the physical impairment, work, financial difficulties, distance of home to school, and other justifiable legitimate reasons.
Group of students act as a panel, and the remaining class members act as an audience. So the panel is a chosen leader in a team to responsible or to summarize the discussion and give open discussion to the audience. In the fourth is KWL or KWHLAQ. So it is used to guide students through a text, or according to Ogle in 1986, the K column of a KWL chart are the graphic organizers that help students organize information before, during, and after a unit or a lesson. So in this strategy, the students use to engage a new topic and brainstorming to the other students and are brainstorming everything they know about the topic so that the teacher can monitor their students' learning. So if it's the brainstorming is a large of a small group activity that encourage the students to focus on a topic and contribute to the free flow of ideas. So these are the teachers begin a brainstorming by asking questions and introducing to that particular topic, and the students express their answer or ideas, and then the teacher accept it without judgment and criticism. In the sixth strategies is the learner-centered media. Learner-centered media, according to Yowell and Rotten 2009, it involves a high degree of engagement, promotes individual learning, social interactions, and immersions, is highly customizable and collaborative. Like example lang, yung mga OJT, mga on-the-job training, ganyan. And 7 is the discussion. Discussion is a variety of forms for open-ended collaborative exchange of ideas among the teacher and students and among students for the purpose of furthering students' thinking, learning, problem solving, understanding, or literary appreciation. So, the teacher present multiple point of view, and the students respond of their ideas, and they reflect of their own ideas to build their knowledge, understanding of that topic. So, according to Kasanto 2009, the discussion has two sides, the advantage and the disadvantage. So, the advantage of the discussion is, in a discussion class, the students are actively involved in processing information and ideas. Since the student initiative questions are more commonly in discussion classes, their needs and interests are detailed more readily than in other methods. So, because of the students' play are more active role in discussion, students' diversity of backgrounds can be exploited in the generation of ideas, approaches, and examples. So, the students receive practice and formulating questions and communicating their ideas. So, the discussions can be used to examine students' attitudes. Yun yung mga advantage sa discussion. So, the disadvantage of the discussion is the discussion methods is the least effective methods for conveying factual information. Discussion can be very time-consuming and confused unless the instructor make an effort to direct the flow. So, because of an instructor is often had difficulty in getting the students involved at first, the temptation to slip into a review session. Class size must be restricted. The 8th strategies is the small group. A small group, according to Brower 1997, it allows for an interchange of ideas within the context of a group under the direction of the presenter. So, according to Kasanto 2009 naman, it is generally used as part of a larger course rather than as the only teaching method. In this situation, students work in pairs or small groups of problem of application and analysis. So, according to Brewer 1997, they allows everyone to contribute many ideas for others to discuss and reflect upon. But kasi to 2009 naman is the teacher must prepare a description of the task and group into two to 7 students per group, so that the students work together to complete the task assigned, and the teacher again reunify the large group and compare the answers or the solutions. And the 9th is the case studies. Case studies, according to 2009, it involves simply observing what happened to or reconstructing the case history of a single participant of a group individuals. So in these methods, it is followed by step to illustrate the problem solving strategy. And that's all. Thank you.
Jigsaw. Jigsaw is a method of organizing classroom activity that makes students dependent on each other to succeed. It breaks classes into groups and breaks assignment to complete the jigsaw. Puzzle is a cooperative learning strategy that enables each student of a home group to specialize in one aspect of a topic. For example, one group studies habitat of rainforest animals, another group studies predators of rainforest animals. Students meet members from other groups who are assigned the same aspect, and after mastering the material, return to the home group and teach the material to their group members. With this strategy, each student in the home group serves as piece of the topic puzzle, and when they work together as a whole, they create the complete jigsaw puzzle. Learning Center. Learning Center is an exploratory and interactive learning strategies where students rotate in groups to different activities that reinforce and extend classroom learning. As students rotate to designated areas around the classroom, they demonstrate their understanding of a topic and practice skills through tasks that integrate various learning styles. To implement these strategies, a teacher first determines as a skill or content area to focus on and select several activities related to the object. The materials for each activity are placed in specific locations around the classroom, and students complete the activities in small group while the teacher provides support to individual students. Workshop. It's a teaching structure that push students to be creative and responsible in their own learning. The workshop model as students to take charge of their own learning, becoming active and engaged in their work and development of understanding. Demonstration. It's a teaching method used to communicate an idea with the aid of visuals such as flip chart, poster, PowerPoint, etc. It is also a process of teaching someone how to make or do something in a step-by-step process. A demonstration always has a finished product. The key to a good demonstration is for the audience to be able to go home and do what you have taught them how to do. Mental models are any organized pattern obtain a visual representation consisting of both structure and process, a flow chart of sort that helps a student comprehend content, knowledge, and or solve problems relative to the principal. Being taught, advanced organizer are often thought of as mental models. Mental models help you understand life. Example, supply and demand is a mental model that helps you understand how the economics work. Project-based learning. It's a teaching method in which students gain knowledge and skill by working for an extended period of time to investigate and respond to authentic, engaging, and complex questions, problems, or challenge. A dynamic classroom approach in which students actively explore real-world problems and challenges and acquire a deeper knowledge. Problem-based learning. It's a teaching method in which complex real-world problems are used as the vehicle to promote student learning concepts and principles as opposed to direct presentation of facts and concepts. It can promote the development of critical thinking skill, problem-solving abilities, and communication skill. It can also provide opportunities for working in groups, finding and evaluating research materials, and lifelong learning. Discovery learning was introduced by Jerome Bruner and its method of inquiry-based instruction. This popular theory encouraged learners to build on past experiences and knowledge, use their intuition, imagination, and creativity, and search for new information to discover facts, correlations, and new truths. It is used in the classroom during problem-solving exercises and educational programs. Advantages. Number 1, it encourages motivation, active involvement, and creativity. Number 2, it can be adjusted to the learner's pace. 3, it promotes autonomy and independence. Number 4, it ensures higher levels of retention. Inquiry-based strategy. It's an approach to learning that emphasizes the student role in the learning process rather than the teacher telling students what they need to know. Students are encouraged to explore the materials, ask questions, and share ideas. From a student point of view, inquiry-based learning focuses on investigating an open question or problems. They must use evidence-based reasoning and creative problem solving to reach a conclusion which they must define or present. From a teacher point of view, inquiry-based learning focuses on moving students beyond general curiosity into the realms of critical thinking and understanding. Benefits of inquiry-based learning. Number 1 is reinforces curriculum content. Number 2, warm up the brain for learning. Number 3, promotes a deeper understanding of content. Number 4, helps make learning rewarding. Number 5, builds initiative and self-direction. Number 6, works in almost any classroom. Number 7, offer differentiated instruction. Experiments. Experiments is a procedure carried out to support, reflect, or validate a hypothesis. Experiment provide insight into cause and effect by demonstrating what outcome occur when a particular factor is manipulated. Experiments vary greatly in goal and scale but always rely on repeatable procedure and logical analysis of the result. Role play. Role play is a technique that allows students to explore realistic situations by interacting with other people and in a managed way in experiment, experience, and try different strategies in a supported environment. It is an educational techniques in which people spontaneously act out problem of human relation and analysis the enactment with the help of other role players and observers. Role-playing is effective when the topics involves person-to-person communication or interaction. The advantage of role-play are allow everyone to participate. It develops self-esteem and confidence and give them opportunity to show their creativity. Simulations are interactional scenarios where the learner is placed in a world defined by the teacher. They represent a reality within which students interact. The teacher controls the parameter of this world and use it to achieve the desired. Interactional results students experience the reality of the scenarios and gather meaning from it. Simulation may contain elements of a game, a role play, or an activity that acts as a metaphor. Advantage of simulation are it promotes the use of critical and evaluative thinking, promotes concept attainment through experiential practice, and helps students appreciate more deeply the management of the environment, politics, community, and culture. Laboratory strategies. Laboratories are wonderful settings for teaching and learning science. They provide students with opportunities to think about, discuss, and solve real problems. It's developed institution and depends understanding of concept applies concepts. Learn in class to new situations, experience basic phenomena, develop critical, quantitative thinking, develop experimental and data analysis skills, and learn to use scientific apparatus.
So, good day everyone, especially to Coach Judith and to my fellow classmates. So, I'm Rainier Ortoste, a 2GB TVTET major in electronics. So, the topic that I'm going to discuss to you is the continuing report of Mr. John Patrick Camera on learner-centered instructional strategies. So, the first topic that I'm going to discuss to you is the social media. So, what is a social media? Social media are tools that allow for social interaction and easy creation of content by users. It can be an effective tool for teaching and learning in higher education. It can help connect students and to inform and help them to generate a dialogue with their teacher and other students about the course. It can also help students and faculty build professional networks that connects them communities beyond. So we all know what is the social media is all about. So through social media, both teacher and students are interact with each other to conducting a class. Like today, we're experience the COVID-19 pandemic. So hindi tayo pinapayagan na mag-full face-to-face classes sa ating mga school. So ito yung ginagamit natin parang alternative way na para i-force natin yung ating studies, no. Through social medias is nagagamit nito sa mga iba't ibang way or communicating to get attention from students. So yung mga ganun. So nowadays si social media lang talaga yung pwede nating asahan on how we are going to conduct classes, no, in our university. So that's all for the social media. So the next topic that I'm going to discuss to you is the games or the gamification. Games or gamification. Gamification is turning the learning process as a whole into a game. while games-based learning or GGL is using a game as part of the learning process. It turns the entire learning process into a game. It takes games mechanics and gameplay elements and applies them to existing learning courses and content in order to better motivate and engage learner. So for example, yung mga high school pa tayo, no, madalas talaga tayong meron mga games sa loob ng classroom, no, para ma-motivate yung mga mas ma-motivate ng estudyante kung paano siya matuto sa lesson na iyon. So sa pamamagitan ng games na yon, so mas lalong na naiintindihan ng isang estudyante kung ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng lesson na yun. So for example, yung sa mga laro na ginagawa namin dati is yung pabilisan ng pag-answer sa teacher. So yung mga ganun na games, mas lalo kang nagiging parang excitement talaga siya. So yung parang ganun, parang naiengganyo yung isang estudyante na magkahanap ng sagot sa tanong ni teacher. So yun ang ibig sabihin ng games or gamification. So the third topic that I'm going to discuss today is the competition. So what is the competition? Competition are great tools in preparing students for their career preferences later in life. This method can teach a child certain attributes and traits that can help him or her later in life. Competition in any form brings out the best in people and pushes them to excel. Competition in the classroom is quite healthy. It should, in fact, be encouraged. It allows students to extend themselves, to exploit their real capabilities and maximize their true potential. It is most productive when it occurs among students of similar abilities. So, the example of a competition is the poster making, sabayang pagbigkas. So yung mga ganun na competition na mas natututo yung mga estudyante sa pamamagitan ng competition. They gain much more knowledge and for the future, and then they're going to apply it. So sa competition, dito natin nalalaman na yung isang estudyante is nagiging parang matulis yung kanyang pag-iisip, and sa kanyang nagiging matulis din yung kanyang knowledge, no? Parang nagiging mas madali na lang sa kanya yung pag-gain ng mga knowledge, and mas nagiging active yung isang estudyante sa pamamagitan ng competition. So that's all for the competition. So the fourth topic that I'm going to discuss to you is the debate. Debate involves students in expressing their own opinions from two competing perspectives with the goal of contradicting each other's argument. An opportunity for decision may be given after opposing views are presented in alternating statement. Engaging students in discussion and debate encourages students to create their own understanding of the content and connect to their experience. So we all know what is the debate is talking about. So the purpose of the debate is to know and the students is going to research more what is the topic was given to them. So dito na yung pumapasok na mag-argue ng isang estudyante, yung mga both participant, no? Parang kung aling mismong iyong itatanong ng isang participant, yun din yung magiging argument nila. So yung they're continuous lang. So that's all for the debate. And what is the purpose of the debate is to research more, um, and connect to their own experiences in life. So that's all. So let us move on the letter D, the flexible learning in teaching. Flexible learning is a method of learning where students are given freedom in how, what, when, and where they learn. Flexible learning environments addresses how physical space is used, how students are grouped during learning, and how time is used throughout teaching. Example of flexible learning are face-to-face contact, website with interactive content, and or chat rooms, discussion boards, tele- teleconferencing or video conferencing, print resources, field, field trips, and audio tapes. Flexible teachings accommodate curiosity, allows lesson to have a much looser structure. Let's this discussion and thoughts play out and follow them to see they where they go. In traditional course, some activities are synchronous, like listening to lectures or participating in discussion, labs, and small groups work. Other activities might be asynchronous, like reading and homework assignments. So in flexible learning and teaching, so nowadays we're experience the COVID-19 pandemic. So through the flexible learnings, dito kasi is parang um, um, parang pwede siya pwede siya face to face, pwede din siyang online. So katulad yung ginagawa ng department natin, no, 1 week tayo face to face, tas 1 week hindi. So yun ang ibig sabihin ng flexible learning. So in flexible teaching, so dito yung pumapasok yung curiosity ng isang estudyante. For example, kung meron kayong mga activity or may mga experiment na hindi talaga actual na nakikita ng isang estudyante. So magki-curious ang isang estudyante, no, kung paano yung gagawin, so kung paano yun i-demonstrate. So yung isang structure ng isang lesson is parang nagiging behind siya, no? Kasi si teacher is hindi talaga niya masyadong namomonitor kung ano ba yung ginagawa ng kanyang estudyante, kung if they conduct this kind of experiment, magiging sure ba kung magiging safe ba yung estudyante mo. So yung mga ganun na circumstances na hindi mo talaga siya makokontrol by through flexible learning. So that's based on my analyzing and understanding. So let us move on to the letter E topic, which is the differentiated learning. So differentiated learning is a framework or philosophy that involves providing all students within their diverse classroom community of learners a range of different avenues for understanding new information in terms of acquiring content, processing, constructing, or making sense of idea, and developing teaching materials and assessment measures so that all the students within a classroom can learn effectively regardless or differences in their ability. So in differentiated learning, so dito na yung gagawa, depende sa teacher kung ano yung gagawin niya na strategy para mabilis na matuto yung kanyang estudyante, no. So for example is gagawa si teacher ng 4 na group. So each group may iba't ibang silang task na gagawin. para ma-meet nila yung kung ano ba yung hiningi ni teacher na sagot. So so what does it means? So no, for the number 1, design lessons based on the students' learning styles. So for the number 2, group students by shared interest, topic, or ability for assignment. 3, assess students' learning using formative assessment. 4, manage the classroom to create a safe and supportive environment. Differentiated instruction may means teaching the same materials to all students using a variety of instructional strategies. It may require the teachers to deliver lessons and varying levels of difficulty based on the ability of each student. So, according to Tomlinson, teachers can differentiate instructions through 4 ways. So, according daw kay Tomlinson, meron daw 4 na differentiated na instruction na dapat gawin ng isang teacher. So, the first one is the content, 2, the process, 3, the product, and 4, the learning environment. So, this is the example of the differentiated instruction. So, the first one is the created learning station. Yun yung sinabi ko kanina na si teacher is she or he are going to create a group of student na depende sa kung anong ibibigay ni teacher na strategy para ma-meet ng mga estudyante kung ano ba yung dapat gawin ng mga estudyante para ma-meet nila yung kanilang lesson. So for the number 2 example of differentiated instruction, which is the target different senses within lesson. So for example si teacher for example ngayon he or she were going to give you a video parang video presentation siya. Pwede din auditory, pwede din kinesthetic senses. So depende sa teachers kung anong tatargetin ng teacher para mas mabilis matuto yung kanyang estudyante. So the third example is the use the think, pair, share strategy. So dito naman is si teacher is he or she were going to give the topic to their students and si teacher pipili siya ng mga estudyante na para mag-pair. So kung ano yung naisip nila, so the students were going to share it in the classroom kung ano yung kanilang naisip na answer or possible answer na pwedeng nila i-share sa loob ng classroom. So for the fourth example, which is the make time of journaling. So dito naman sa part example ng on the differentiated instruction. So alam naman natin kung ano yung journal So for example, pagkatapos ng klase, si teacher he or she were recommend to the students to make a journal before pagkatapos ng klase. So kung ano ba yung natutunan nila or how they're going to apply the knowledge on the classroom when they have a class. So yung mga ganun na strategy na ginagamit ni teacher sa loob ng classroom. So that's all for the differentiated instruction. So for the last topic, which is the letter F, the education in emergencies. What is the education in emergencies? It is a critical, life-saving response that works to protect children in conflict and natural disasters and preserve their rights to education. So, for example, no, yung ginagawa natin every year, so we observe naman sa loob ng classroom natin yung ginagawa ng mga authority yung earthquake drill na we have to perform the duct duct cover and hold, no, kung paano para ma-educate tayo kung on how we are going to perform it when it comes na dadating yung disaster ng earthquake. So dito yung authorities, they were going to educate us para ma-less yung magiging casualties or injuries sa loob ng ating school. So it is education that protects the well-being, fosters learning opportunities, and nurtures the overall development of people affected by the conflict and disaster. So in education in emergency, we have the two factors. So what is the two factors in education in emergencies? The number one factors is the foundational standards. Foundational standards is this domains details standard for community participation. So pag sinabi natin community participation, yun na yung ginagawa natin yung parang in-educate yung community kung paano gawin, kung mga prevention, kung makakaroon ba ng earthquake, paano gawin yung duct cover and hold. So yung mga ganun na mga mga way para ma-prevent natin yung mga casualties and injuries. So participation and resources coordination and analyzing assessments, response strategies, monitoring, evaluation. The standards described here are critical for an effective education response. They are the basis for the application of the standards for access the learning environment, teaching and learning, teacher and other education personnel, and education policy. So for the number two factors, which is the teaching learning domains, the teacher learning domains, these standards focus on the critical elements that promotes effective teaching and learning, including curricula, training, professional development and support, instructions and learning processes, and assessment for learning outcomes. So what is the curricula? Curricula, culturally, socially, and linguistically relevant curricula are used to provide formal and non-formal education appropriate to the particular context and needs of the learner. So based on my understanding on curricula, so dito yung parang depende na sa authority kung ano yung gagamitin niya na language ba para mas ma-catch up ng isang learner kung paano niya gawin yung dapat gawin when it comes na dadating yung isang disaster, no. So training so the letter B, which is the training, professional development and support. So dito is the authorities, he or she were going to train the learners or the individuals kung ano man yung mangyari, ito yung dapat gawin. So yung mga ganyan na circumstances, you're going to on how you're going to first aid an individual was injured. So yung mga ganun. So the letter C, which is the instruction and learning processes. So instructions and learning processes are the learner-centered, participatory, and inclusive. So for the letter D, which is the assessment and learning outcomes, appropriate methods methods are used to evaluate learning outcomes. So dito sa assessment ng learning outcomes, so dito na yung mag-evaluate na yung authority kung tama ba yung ginagawa ng ng learners or ng participant, kung ano ba yung dapat niyang gawin, no? So kung ano yung dapat gawin, kung in case na may ang tatama na kung tatama ba yung lindol, so yung mga ganun. So that's all for my topic in module 4. So thank you for listening and thank you.